he, Caleb Gettimer, Joe Rudiger, and a bunch of other people were piloting day 2, and the only difference that they had, the cute little difference that they had for each of their lists was we're cycling between Tortuga, Lalip, and Arkin, and Jimmy got Tortuga. So
that's funny. That's so funny. Is there a fourth one? Is it
no, it's just 3.
Okay,
so
okay, cool. All right, looks like they're starting up. We got Jimmy on the right here, leading
with the Tapu Lele EX or GX.
Yep.
Versus Austin Ellis starting his Tech Giratina promo, which is literally just for Trevenant.
Not the start that either one of these players want.
Yeah.
I guess Austin's is a little worse because it can't attack at all. But definitely not. Either one of what these guys are looking for.
So if Jimmy ever plays down his parallel steady, that's probably one of the first things Austin's just gonna get rid of because it serves him no value in this matchup. Not even as like a big beefy thing to sit behind.
Yep.
Because it can't attack, unlike Oricorio, which can. Because it only requires a single colorless energy. Giratina has a really big attack cost. Pretty neat effect, but not worth the energy commitment since he has no way to simulate or pay for the psychic cost of the attack.
Yep. It's just dead weight for until he's able to move it or somehow, right?
Yeah.
So we see Jimmy dropping the battle compressor in the first turn, getting rid of the execute, getting rid of the sycamore, and a plumeria. It's interesting to see him go for that so early.
Yeah. So he's probably just signaling to Austin like, hey, these are the tools that I have, and I don't need it this turn, but I have access to it for the rest of the game through my VS Seekers. So
I mean, Jimmy immediately seeing him get all kinds of execute value. He Ultra Balled, he just Dowsing Machine, he played another Ultra Ball. He's really getting some mileage out of this egg immediately, which is
and not committing to playing Bridget, because then now I think he's set himself up to he's played Sycamore.
Yep, he is playing Sycamore. Yep.
Sycamore for a fresh hand of 7 without having to, discard any cards from his hands because he's played all his cards out. So, pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, about as good of a start as you could want. I mean, he gets to play Sycamore while having to use Arua. So, I mean, you get to draw into a third basic, and that's basically a Bridget and a fresh hand.
Yeah, that's a Bridget and a fresh hand, as opposed to, dedicating to grabbing 3 cards and then not drawing any extra cards.
Yep, exactly. So. On Jimmy's end, things are starting off well, so we'll see what kind of cards he draws.
There's that Sycamore for a fresh 7, no discard. See what 7 cards Jimmy gets. Oh, kind of.
I saw a Zorak in his hand.
Yeah, a Toad, DCE.
Ooh. Definitely something he wants to attack with in this matchup, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, he's playing the 3 Seismitoad EX, just like you said. Caleb and Joe were playing it too, right?
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
And Azul Garcia.
And Azul is playing it. Okay, cool. That's interesting. I mean, we've all seen like the 1 Toad in this deck before, right? Or even 2, but 3, it's
3 is a full commitment,
especially without like lasers or anything.
The only instance I've seen this many Toads paired with Zoroark GX is in the dedicated Zoroark Toads list. That I know I tested against with Eric Gansman for Dallas Regionals before it just became clear that Zoro Eggs and Red Card Hex was the best Zoroark variant for that time period. And, up until Virginia, it still was destroying the meta.
Oh, yeah.
So,
all right.
If you're Austin, what attackers would you go for in this matchup?
I mean, we see Austin. I'm pretty sure he played a Karina turn 1. I mean, we had him on stream yesterday. He played a bazillion Karina.
Yeah, that round was all the instances of Karina we ever saw yesterday.
Yep. And so it looks like he's pulling off something similar. He's going in with the Zygarde. I think the Zygarde's a perfectly reasonable lead.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't really know Jimmy's deck or list that well. Being able to heal against that Toad is really
literally it's like if Jimmy doesn't modify the damage of his Quaking Punch, he's doing a solid 30. And then Austin just announces with his own damage modifiers on top of it, Cellstorm for X amount of damage. I heal the 30 you just did to me.
And is also like hitting for a couple hundred, 100 some odd damage probably.
And Jimmy's only healing option outside of Acerola is Rough Seas. And, it's like you doing more than 30 and me only healing 30 versus my 30 and your heal 30.
Yep.
Yeah. unfavorable trade.
Oh, absolutely. So you know, Austin's not too scared. You know, it would be one thing if Jimmy had like lasers in Verbanks.
Yeah.
And
If it was a more dedicated Toad build, but this is a more Zoroark control with the aspect of the item lock.
Yep, exactly. So Jimmy throwing the DC up top on that Lele. Him, I think he's kind of recognizing what we saw in the, you know, problem with trying to use Toad against that thing. So he's opting to attack with the Tapu Lele. You know, well, actually, looks like he's going for the Plumeria. So maybe he does just retreat it after all because he just, you know, he got rid of the energy. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now he's another turn off from the Soulstorm play that we were hoping Austin to, you know, just drop down next turn. But
and you know, if Austin can, or if Jimmy can keep Austin out of that Cell Storm and just kind of like poke, and stack some damage up, you know, it's not looking
one
too bad
neat
for him.
thing about this interaction is like Austin's still doing more damage with the Zygarde because of the Parallel City that Jimmy played. It's any stadium, so it doesn't have to be his own stadium.
Yep.
So
he's like, oh, thank you for the damage.
Thanks for the extra damage.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
So Austin did not do much there. Just kind of drew, attached the energy, attacked, and that's all she wrote. Yeah. Maybe he didn't play a Karina turn 1. Maybe he just opened with the Zygarde.
So yesterday we were highlighting Austin's list yesterday, and we originally thought it was a Buzzrock because people were telling us it was Buzzrock. So we went into the matchup. I think we actually commentated Austin's match, us as a duo, and
we did, yeah.
We kept referring to when that Lycanroc comes active, you know, when it gets established, and we check the list and it's not in there. So this time around, so most of the only two things that are weak to Seismitoad in Austin's list are Landorus EX, conventionally weak to Seismitoad are Landorus EX and Sudowoodo. But Austin doesn't want to get Giratina locked up against a Toad or, you know, any of the other big retreat things that can't efficiently trade with the Seismitoad. So, you know, maybe Jimmy's attacker for this entire series is going to be that Seismitoad EX. You know, if Austin starts Landorus EX, that's unfortunate because that's a free 2 prizes for Jimmy, as well as maintaining a dominating lock.
Yep. Absolutely. And you know, we've kind of Austin has had that strong energy in his hand since the first turn, and he's been intentionally avoiding playing it because he's
been using his basics.
He just knows that Jimmy has the
enhanced hammers and
he just trying to dodge him. I mean, you know, I could see it end up working out. Like Jimmy did use 2 back-to-back Plumerias to take out the first 2 fightings, so maybe there's a world where you know, Jimmy's like, oh dang, I can't quite reach you know, the removal this turn. You know, doesn't draw into enhanced hammer. I can't, you know, use 2 Plumerias in a row.
Jimmy using Wonder Tag. Grabbing a Acerola. He's gonna pick up that Toad after playing Battle Compressor. Yeah, his bench is full. He's never gonna, you know, empty it because he doesn't play Skyfield. Realizing Sudowoodo doesn't really do much for him in this matchup, and he's already, you know, he's fine with that board state and just cycling between 2 Seismitoad EXs, as opposed to like, oh, I need to play another Zoroark down, I need to do this, because it'll just, like, Austin will snowball once he establishes more non-Seismitoad threats on the board and run away with the game. But I think Jimmy's line of play is correct, going for the Seismitoad cycling.
Alright, going for the 2 trades here. Jimmy drawing 4 cards just real quick, just kind of points, you know.
Enhanced Hammer.
There it is. Gets the Enhanced Hammer, has the Acerola, and just, I mean, it's about all he can want this early in the game, you know. Something that I thought was kind of interesting was we actually saw Jimmy get rid of Zorua with that Battle Compressor. You know, I mean, look at his board now, right? I guess he has no intention of getting rid of those Leles. Doesn't really feel like he needs the 3rd Zoroark, so. You know, I mean,
is there ever the possibility of, if Austin bumps the Parallel City to, you know, get access to Brooklet Hill and use something like, you know, I don't think you would bench the Sudowoodo off of that, but, you know, to start establishing, and Jimmy gets the opportunity to play down Parallel again, do you think he bumps off those 2 Leles, or keeps that, you know, reduced damage on his end?
I don't think that Jimmy cares too much about the Leles being there. The reduced damage is actually probably more of a pain than those 2 Leles.
Yeah, because now it's
honestly.
like, oh, hey, I only do 10 per Quaking Punch now. So I'm just going to bop you for 10. Bop you for 10.
Yeah,
low and slow.
And kind of where, I mean, and if this Zygar is ever able to get up to that Cellstorm territory, then, you know, he's definitely not stacking any damage on his board, so.
Up, Enhanced Hammer once again.
Jimmy with the second E-Hammer.
Guzma, the Giratina.
Looks like Jimmy has a Fury Belt and a DC. There he goes. It's interesting to me that he put the Fury Belt on the benched one. Why do you think that was?
Fairy Belt on the bench one, so if he can somehow bring that into the active, there's enough damage modifiers in most fighting decks for him to threaten that knockout, because he only has to do 100 damage. It's pretty easy for fighting decks to hit fighting or 100 damage off a single attachment. Oh, Austin with the replacing the Parallel City for Brooklyn, getting that Buzzwole GX, Beast Energy. He's gonna Jet Punch for. He's gonna Jet Punch for 160 and then do 30 snipe for a single energy.
That's better than a Night Spear.
That's extra credit.
Oh,
that's almost.
That's the least we can say.
Yeah,
extra credit. So I mean, you know, Austin got his Giratina brought up, but has kind of as good of a response as a guy could hope for.
Yeah.
You know,
I stuck this big thing active. You have to use Aethrola or a Guzma.
Yep. Ooh, the third Enhanced Hammer in a row. Jimmy just boom, boom, boom. I mean, they do play 3, but those are all 3, so.
That's all 3 until, you know, he finds an opportunity to bring them back in with resource management.
Yep.
But, given how many, like, damage modifiers and how easy it is for fighting to hit even 60 damage and then, you know, 120 after weakness, it's kind of a non-issue. At most, that Oranguru will ever have is 160 HP, but, you know, 80 damage is pretty easy to swing with fighting types.
Oh, it's doable. So we actually see Jimmy just play a Guzma of his own, bring that Giratina right back up, and he looks at Austin and goes, hey, all right, back in the spot I wanted us to be in the first place.
Austin playing Chorus for 9 cards, really good supporter.
Oh, it's definitely one of the most used non-standard legal supporters in Expanded, right? Like, there's basically not a deck in Expanded that can't benefit from Chorus to some extent.
Yeah, one-sided shuffle draw that lets me explosively, you know, reward myself if you bench your entire board, or if I use a fully loaded board, or both. Like, we both have fully loaded boards.
Yep.
16 cards.
Yeah. Skyfield, 2 full benches, 16 cards. Like, that's so many. and you know, even without the Skyfield, 10 is still like a good, you know, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy playing the Rough Seas, starting to heal his Toads.
Oh man, and with this Giratina in the active, that Rough Seas is gonna get some mileage. So he looks like, oh, is Jimmy's
he's got
his deck in his hand. Yeah.
His hand.
He's got everything but that
one card.
That Tortuga. He's got Tortuga, right? That's his.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, what a card. So, I mean, he's looking it over. He's thinking. I don't think he's played a supporter yet. I mean, looking at the list of his supporters, I'm not sure what he would play.
Maybe Lucamine to start.
Ooh, going for the Plumeria. Makes sense.
Oh, just taking any energy off of Austin's board at this point. You know, he's controlling the pace of the game. You know, he can infinitely recur those resources at some point, and then, you know, Austin's stuck attaching one energy at a time. He doesn't play any ways to, outside of the Beast Ring, which isn't going to be online for any time soon. So, and he can't play it because he's item locked, so.
Yep. And I mean, so I guess, Jimmy just puts that Tortuga right back on top of, you know, he puts in the discard and goes straight to the deck.
Yeah,
right?
So he's Lucamining for Plumeria and Parallel City. He's content to bring in Austin's board down to.
I mean, he just kind of looks at him and goes, oh, you have 4 good things on your bench, and the Giratina's in the active.
Yeah, like, because otherwise he would just be like, cool, this big damage thing that can't retreat ever. Gone.
Yep. Exactly. So we see another Quaking Punch from Jimmy. Austin's kind of peeking over his options. He top decked a Juniper, so he could dump that whole hand and draw 7, but it's a lot of cards in that hand, you know? It's like,
yeah.
Can you do that? Like, that's so many.
Yeah, don't do the Aaron.
Oh,
don't.
Wow. Oh, wow. Oh, it's savage.
I mean, Come on, you know how many cards are in deck. You should know your energy count.
I talked to him yesterday. He told me he thought that he had an energy in deck, and I was like, you didn't. Like we all counted that you had 0 energy left. He's like, I missed the counter. I thought it was in there.
You discarded it, bro.
Yeah.
Rip.
Turn 1 too. But you know, he did end up winning out.
He clawed out. He clawed out. He ran it back. 7-2.
Yep.
He's currently 8-2 right now.
Really?
24 points. Yeah.
Wild.
He told me, "Hey, don't stream me again until finals. Thanks."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Got it, Aaron. Love you."
He just got a little too comfy on the
His energy.
at the end of game 2 there. You know, game 1 he kind of smashed. Game 2 it looked like he was smashing, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna win. And just started playing a little too loose.
Yeah.
It sure punished him.
He let loose and then lost.
He let loose too loose.
Too loose.
He got too loose to let loose. He got 2 foot loose. Oh wow. So
put on your Sunday shoes.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, here we go. He's gonna start cell storming.
Yep. That Austin with that Acerola on that Giratina. That's, I mean,
bruh.
Always good, right?
Brawlic.
That's insane. And you know, Austin just coming up, cell storm. I mean, that Zygarde, what? Doesn't have any damage on it, so you don't get to heal anything. But it, you know.
You know, it does.
Ooh, he gets the fighting out of Austin's hand with the Skull Grunt.
Bruh.
Just putting the Tortuga back on top of his deck.
Up. Now that toad has 220 HP total.
That it does. That is a that's not a small frog.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
I've seen smaller frogs.
It's not even wind day, my dudes.
Right. So Austin just, you know, drawing. You know, it seems like, I mean, Jimmy's kind of used a lot of Austin's resources, it seems, but he's Austin. I mean, neither one of them have taken prizes yet, which I think is pretty wonky.
In Austin's list, he has no way to recover any energy. So every energy denied on Jimmy's, Jimmy denying Austin any energy on his end. Austin now is playing that many energy less, obviously.
Yep.
And has to make every energy attachment more,
Yep. I mean,
impactful.
He has to be more just aware of everything that they can do, right? So it looks like
streams 3 back-to-back enhance hammers.
Yeah, that was brutal. Just boom, boom, boom. I mean, but it looks like Austin's been able to get a bunch of energy on this Zygarde here. I mean, he just cell stormed it. It doesn't have any damage on it. That Toad's definitely going down, unless something's done.
He has to Lusamine for Lusamine and probably Acerola. No, Guzma or some sort of other control supporter.
Yeah.
But notice that he's always grabbing the Lusamine with the second Lusamine. Yeah, he's grabbing that Guzma.
He's getting the Guzma, yeah. I think he might try to bring up the ENC Prism Star. It's got the biggest retreat. It can't really attack. It's definitely the most vulnerable target.
It can attack. It's just like 3 energy attachments, and it's just very inefficient. Since we just talked about how Austin has to make every attachment count.
Yep.
So there, Austin taking the first 2 prizes of the game.
And he attaches that 4th basic fighting to the
just to say, hey, it doesn't matter if you Plumeria me, I can still Land's Wrath.
Like it almost seems like he's trying to bait Austin to bait Jimmy into like going for a Lele play or something similar. But kind of like what we said earlier, we see the immediate Guzma bringing up the
Diancie and then just trying to
start quaking punching away,
instead of doing 10 damage, he's doing 20.
Ooh.
So, spooky.
That Fury Belt. Speeding up.
Thick maths.
I honestly think that he's probably fine with only doing 20 damage, because the more time he has to, Lusamine and Plumeria, Lusamine, just kind of like loop those cards.
Maintain that like loop of control supporters, win conditions that Jimmy has to build up over time to, slowly grind away and win one game, and then, play game 2 out to,
Hopefully he just wins 2-0, but, the way that a lot of these control decks work is their game 1 is generally so slow that they just
don't get time to play it.
Yeah,
a full second
exactly. The second game rarely finishes. Though, I mean, we did see Sableye Gardevoir finish a best of 3 on stream yesterday, so really anything's possible.
Yeah. When we all doubted it.
We
We're
did.
just like, oh, it can't come back, and then
Indeed, it came back.
it came back even with the power of Dimension Valley Garb.
I mean, it's just one of those things that it's resilient.
Yeah.
You know, stands the test of time. So.
Much to Alex's pleasure. He's like,
Indeed.
Sableye still winning games in 2018? Let's go, baby. Him just giving the nod of approval off camera.
So there we see a Lucamine. He's getting a mysterious treasure.
Is Austin playing?
There's no way that was a
Karina?
treasure. I must have missed the
Oh,
supporter.
no. He played that last year.
Yeah. Alright. So, man, Austin just really, really wants to see that last,
Yeah, and even though
that last Guzman he's got in his
Jimmy
deck.
could just recycle Oranguru, or using Oranguru, the Enhance Hammers, to discard special energy without having to use a supporter, he just doesn't want to break Quaking Punch Lock on this Diancie.
Yep.
Buys Jimmy way more time to...
Oh. So, guys, I feel like we're obligated to share a nice pun that our boy Alex over here made.
I thought
Oh.
but that's not true.
So Alex thought that Austin could just attach the float stone, but he couldn't
Because of Quaking Punch.
because he was quaking. Not a fan. Swing and a miss.
Get out.
That was a pretty bad
Get
joke.
out. Get out.
That wasn't
Get out.
mine.
Alex, get out.
You're fired. Please leave. So we see the the Kuzma coming down on Jimmy's end. Another Toad, another TC, another day in the life of Austin Ellis. Stranded.me is his new name. So we see him draw a card. It just, like, look at his hand. It doesn't look like there's anything in there. Like,
Brooklyn Hill.
I wonder if, like, does this deck win most of its game by deck out? I guess when we saw it yesterday, we saw it play against Trev, where it did win by prizes, because Dark. And then we played against Amir, where we saw one prize taken in the series. But, like, it looks like Jimmy is intentionally keeping his Toad's damage low. He's intentionally using the Tortuga to not deck himself out, and just removing all the energy on the bench. Like, his goal is to knock out, is to deck out Austin. Like, that's what he's aiming for. For the same reason he can attach the floatstone, you goon.
Alex clearly missing the point of Quaking Punch.
He's like-
Thinking that Austin could be like, oh hey, I can use my yeet.
Good stuff.
I'm so tired.
Same. Alright, so another Quaking Punch for 10.
Brooklyn Hill replacing that, but, you know, Jimmy's going to just re-incur that Parallel City and another Lucamine. Just maintain this infinite loop.
Yep. I mean, this is so, this has got to be so boring for Austin. He's just like, alright, sure, yep, there's the parallel back. He finally bumps. He's like, oh, alright, it's back again. Cool, nice. And you know, he just poke. So another 10 damage from Jimmy Pendarvis. He's actively opting to.
Austin's already burned both Kuzmas, right?
I think he's only played one.
He's just waiting for that second.
I think so. I like
And
could
then
be.
what would you go for? The
Prob-
other Toad?
I would almost go after the non-damage.
Zorg?
Yeah. Oh. Looks like
Two.
Austin Ellis is actually only playing 2 in. But he's at the full count of Versus Seeker, but against Seismitoad, we're really seeing how those Versus Seekers are coming here to haunt him. You know, not really doing anything for him now. I think he's got
Is that
2 or
the
3
Guzma?
sitting in his hand, and he top decks that Guzma. I was gonna say I would take the fresh Zorark.
Zorark, so it's just like, you know, 'cause if I can somehow manage to get any of your damaged Pokemon up,
Yep.
I'm golden.
Yeah, I mean, Austin now suddenly down to 2 prizes. I mean, he's a stone's throw from winning this game. Like that Zork on the bench is 160.
Oh,
Playing a rock deck as a stone.
Ah, you like that? You like that? See, I got relevant puns. This matchup's getting pretty rocky for Jimmy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's Brandon just over it.
So anyways, I think I'm starting to see why you target that fresh Zork. Not just because, like, it's a clean knockout, obviously, because it's weak and you might as well get rid of the fresh one.
Yep.
But also, when Austin does get to the point where he can end Jimmy, when Jimmy feels super confident about this infinite loop that he has going right now,
Yep.
Austin hits him with that and puts Jimmy down to, I guess a full 6 cards in hand, but, his entire deck is his hand at this point,
Yeah.
besides the Tortuga. So, and you only get 1 trade as opposed to, when I originally thought you go after a Toad, like the damaged Toad with the Fury Belt, it's just like, no, instead of giving him 4 cards after I end, I give him only 2.
There you go. Yep, absolutely. So I mean, I guess that's part of the power of this like Toad Zoroark control deck is that, in a lot of matchups like this, it's like they're not going to take prizes, so they don't have to worry about those in lows, right? So that's very useful in their end. We see Jimmy going for another Lucamine. He put the turtle back in his discard. Looks like he's just getting the ace roll in the Lucamine.
Just to pick up that Toad, reuse that. He feels really confident about. Look, doesn't Austin do enough damage? Or no, there's only 30 on it, so he's only gonna do 120. So there's 150 on that Toad. He's just gonna ace roll it back up.
Yep.
But that's 1 less turn of. I guess you can just Lucamine again, so it doesn't matter.
Yep. I mean, he can only get something going every other turn. It is like useful that Jimmy has to do that instead of playing a Plumeria. Forcing the
Austin to find another energy.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's such a precious commodity.
I honestly don't think that Austin has any energy in his hand. I don't see any.
Well, no, because Jimmy's gotten rid of most of them.
That's very true. I mean, he's removed at least 4. I haven't like.
At least 5 or 6 or.
Oh yeah, I was counting just the basics, but if you count, I mean, he's too strong in a beast, right? So like, those 3 and then 2 to 4 fighting. So that's what.
No, I think a bit more strong. He's had turns where he's Plumeria the strong energy, and then he hammered 3 times 2 strong energies and the beast energy.
Yep.
So, and I know he removed some with Plumeria. So, Alex raising his hand in awe of something.
So, Jimmy's he's just thinking right now. He's like, well, how do I get this done? Switching Toads. Okay, he's just gonna go for a nice, clean, quicking punch. That Zygarde, I'm certain, does 100 damage for the 3 energy.
Yeah. 120 with the Diancie on board.
Yep, 120. Just
Austin Juliet. Is he gonna end?
No. Yeah, he probably waits to get. Well, he's got to be careful of not letting Jimmy into handiwork range. So we see the Acerola picking up the Toad with the Floatstone, putting the Floatstone on the active, retreating to this other Toad. We're probably going to see a loop like this for a second at least. Jimmy ended up.
If Austin can power through this, then that'd be great.
Yep. I mean, he really he can taste it, right? He knows he's so close to winning, but he is out of the Guzma. I mean, that thing's active, but he can't really one-shot the
Did
Toad.
Austin count off a turn because there's 4 cards left in deck? What if Jimmy just ends it with a Team Rockets?
He could. If Jimmy just windmills down the Team Rockets handiwork.
Chance.
Yep. I mean, I think it's like a fine play going for the Team Rockets handiwork.
I mean, you have a 25% chance of just automatically winning the game.
Yes. Of winning a game outright. Whereas, I mean, even getting 2, right? I mean, any amount of cards heads there are just getting those damage off their board.
Yeah.
Is very, very
and then
powerful.
You have a 50% odds of winning 2 turns sooner, so why not go for it?
Yep. Makes sense. So we're seeing
Lucamine.
Lucamine.
I think Jimmy just made a huge mistake in counting his resources unless he does not have access to. Oh, he's going to start Rough Seas.
I have some more champions to announce. In the
So
video
He
game,
didn't grab the other Lucamine, so I guess he can just via secret Lucamines. But
our finalist is Connor Watala.
I mean, if he has a Versus Seeker, he could also just Versus Seeker for the Acerola, right?
yeah.
And
Like,
our new
I feel like it's still
Portland
correct to get
Regional Video
Lucamine
Game
there.
Senior champion is Quentin Cologne.
I don't know. It just seems so easy to just Versus Seeker for the other
Yeah,
supporter.
they're correcting the math real quick because they originally put on only the damage for you know, under the parallel reduction. But you know, it's a rough season now, so they had to fix that real quick.
So we see Austin Ellis is like 10 damage short right now. Oh man. I thought he had a 4th strong left. I guess he does.
He's gonna start cell storming.
Yeah.
Swinging for 80. Jimmy's only healing 30 of that, so you know, effectively taking 50 damage every time. You know.
So making some adjustments there. He thinks
Jimmy needs to get this Toad, you know, refreshed.
Got to do what he can at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make it work.
Yeah.
So
he has to play the Acerola.
Yeah. All right. So Jimmy thinking long and hard. I mean, I feel like we're just gonna see that go up. Fresh Toad come down. Retreat, quick and punch like we have 100,000 times, right? I know that Jimmy has. I think he has like a what's it called? A choice band in his hand.
Yeah.
So I don't see why he wouldn't put it on the Toad.
If he's gonna keep cycling it, why wouldn't you just do more damage?
Yeah, exactly.
They play. They only play Fury belts.
Oh, and Austin just like that with the Lysander. We
discounted the Lysander.
We did.
Austin was just waiting on that so taking game 1.
And actually, I remember yesterday.
We talked about his
Lysander.
Lysander split because he doesn't play Lycanroc as an additional gust effect. And we were talking about, well, in the instance of Austin's deck, there are times where he doesn't want to. The thing he wants to attack with is already active.
Yep.
So that 3rd gust effect, instead of having the utility of the switch built into it, he's like, no, bring that boy here.
Yep. And actually,
bring him out. In
that situation, he didn't have anything he could have retreated on the bench. If that was a Guzma, he could not have taken the game there.
Yeah.
So we're really seeing those kind of play, little micro decisions. Like instead of a 3rd Guzma, play a Lysander. He's like, I'm playing versus Seeker. Why not? Mattered. Won him that game. Would not have won that game otherwise. So.
Wow, Austin seemingly, clawing his way through that game with less than 18 minutes to go.
And I mean, like, that game was so grindy. It was so long. I mean, it seemed like Jimmy was just in full control the whole time, but this is just the power of those fighting Pokemon, right? Like, Austin did not get many attacks off, but the ones he did, he made them count. Absolutely. I mean, what is it? Like, all 3 of those Guzmas took
Jimmy was testing his resolve, constantly streaming that one Toad.
Yep.
Like, oh, you did this much damage to me? Pick him up, put him back down, smack him around.
And simultaneously, Austin is, like, returning the, the resolve by Cellstorm. So, like, they're just trading.
It's a test of wills.
Yeah. But except for Austin can one-shot Jimmy Zorix.
Austin has more explosive damage, and Jimmy has to rely on controlling the tempo of the game.
Trying to, keeping energy off of play, that kind of stuff. Yep.
Even with those turns where his Giratina was stuck active, he found a way to maintain energy attachments and, made each one count.
Yep, I completely agree. So, Jimmy, we're seeing a Lele start for the 2nd game in a row here. Not what he loves to see, but could be worse.
Yeah, better start from Austin this time, not starting that Giratina, so he never has to at least with the Baby Buzz, it can attack for a single energy. And if it ever gets built up to swing around, then it can do some decent damage.
Oh yeah. I mean, it does 80 base, plus 20 from the Diancie. Any other modifier, whether it be a head slip or a strong energy, and that knocks out Zoroark, right?
Yeah.
So. Super powerful card. I mean, and, Austin plays 3 of them for a reason, right? Like, I'm sure he's used to leading this little guy.
What I saw on Facebook last night after he made day 2 was he was shouting out the originator of his list, and he did already on stream when we interviewed both him and Drew yesterday. But he's like, James Arnold, thank you for Fist Energy.
Yep. And I mean, it's clearly working out for him. I mean, on stream we saw him, take that game against Drew Allen very, very close. Ended up pulling out a tie. But I mean, I would say that Austin beat Jimmy pretty convincingly.
Yeah, like he bided his time, and it looked like Jimmy was in full control. And then Austin, even though he waited his time, he knew he could win. And we're just like, I don't know. I think you go to like game 2 possibly, just because I don't want to play out. If Jimmy gets a full game, that's at least 40 minutes burnt.
Yep.
And you know, I mean, sure, Buzzwole and Fighting Decks can squeeze out a game in 10 minutes because they have all the tools to get that explosive damage out from the get-go.
No, yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, that explosive damage is part of the reason why these fighting decks are what they are, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, something that I noticed right there is Jimmy only going for the one Zorua, actually. I mean, maybe he noticed last game, he's like, wow, I lost 4 prizes because 2 of my Zorks got knocked out. And, you know, his deck was empty for, this last, like, 30 turns, right? So the Zorak didn't really help him. I mean, they help him get there, but he didn't need to get there as fast as he did.
He got there way too soon because it's giving Austin enough time. Oh, hey. Oh, wait.
Yep.
You're aggressively going through your deck in order to get to the lock faster, but, you're playing into, my trap of, I'm going to hit my Lysander at some point.
Yep.
So, he just waited for, he built damage on that Zorark with the single. I think that was the key, was placing that damage on that Zorark with the Jet Punch. 160 damage for a single attachment. Just still overwhelms me every time. Just
it was mind-boggling.
This is not okay.
Yep. I completely agree. I mean, you see those kinds of attacks, and you're just like, man, that's 1 energy, 1 attack. All it took was a cool energy and a nice tool, and smashing.
Granted, like, that energy isn't super easy to come by, but Austin makes it work with the energy lotto. I think that's the key. And even though it's a one of searching for a one of, but if it gets him there, it gets him there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him Karina for that energy lotto so many times that he's always getting something good off of it.
So if you're Austin right now, are you just gonna try and let this game not resolve?
I mean, it's 12 minutes. That last game took, 35?
Yeah, just short of 33.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy, tried to...
And that was Jimmy going into the lock fast.
Yeah, and he's also just going, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Like, it seemed very obvious that he was trying to just, loop.
Yeah.
He was trying to keep whatever was in the active as long as possible.
And Austin found a solution to that already, so...
Exactly. So, I think that that Jimmy might, maybe he plays the one less Zork, so they're less easy prizes. Maybe he stops reducing his damage with parallel.
It's something we highlighted yesterday. Drew, how Drew used Austin's Brooklyn Hill against him? Jimmy's doing the same. Like, oh, I get another Toad out for free?
Yeah, that's...
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's great, Jimmy this deck loves Toads. He's getting one out for no cost to him, so...
Yeah. Like, oh, you played this card for both of us.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's like, thank you, man. That is so cool of you. Like, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's very, very funny to see. So, Jimmy kind of just taking a peek at his deck. Looks like he's going for that one and only trade that he set up. I mean, he's got to have plenty.
Glucosamine, Temeria, and Rough Seas.
Yeah. So, Rough Seas goes down, heals a little bit. I mean, the Baby Buzz did hit him for 80. That's not,
So, he's netting 50 damage. Austin's netting 50 damage every time he swings with Sledgehammer. And at this point in the game. But, Jimmy's content to healing 30 of that every turn.
Yep.
Or, 30 of the 80 damage, so...
And I mean, it really messes with Austin's attempts to kind of 2 or 3 shot the Toad.
Because instead of 3-shotting the Toad, now it's a 4-shot.
Well, let's see. He'll do 80. It'll get knocked down 30 down to 50, and then 80 to 130, and then that'll get knocked down to 100, and then he can do 80 again, which will put it at 180.
So I guess it's still. Never mind. It's still.
So I mean, it would be a 3-shot right now anyway because he's doing 80, but Austin's deck plays so many modifiers that you kind of expect that without the Rough Seas he could reach it with strong energy, beast energy, what have you. But I mean, Austin is not drawing the best right now.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't really doing that in the last game, and he still pulled it out. So.
I mean, he's got his trusty Zygarde.
Yeah.
Him and Z.
Zen in the back.
Him and Z, they've been going the distance.
Yeah.
They really have. It's been super. This card has been incredible for him every time we've seen it bench.
Singing Hercules.
we could.
I mean, I
Little
shouldn't
Hercules?
sing on stream because I'm tone deaf.
All right, we'll keep it to a minimum.
I'm doing this as a favor to the stream. You don't want to hear it.
This is for you guys, all right? This is not for us. Like, we actually would love to hear him sing, but as a, result of, doing something for you
guys.
guys.
For the audience.
It really is just for the
doing it
folks
for the
at
stream.
home, Like,
Yo, Austin took the first 2 prizes.
and there we go. I mean, the Acerola just swooping up that baby buzz does a little damage, and pop, pop. We see the Zygarde just going in, doing so much work.
Jimmy battle compressoring. Away, Tortuga, Karen, and Zorua. So,
Ooh.
a similar play to last game,
Mhm.
getting rid of Zorua's.
Man, he just, I guess, it had to have been because of last game when, he just saw that the Zoroarks were such easy prizes that
But he realizes that he can't just not rely on them.
Yep.
Because if he only maintains 1 on the board, Austin will just target it down and
Yep.
then just
Yep.
say, cool, now you have no draw power.
Yep, exactly. Could not.
So Jimmy's put in a catch-22. He has to maintain 2 Zoroarks on board so he can, at least have access to 1 trade. If Austin ever gets a juicy turn where he can swing a Zoroark knockout.
And I know that, bench space is clearly troublesome, right? Like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of deck where
It's prime real estate.
it's prime real estate, absolutely. I think you used that yesterday, and it was really good. It's that, like, but why not bench one of the Zoruas, right? So that if Austin does choose to take out the lone Zoroark,
Yeah.
now he can at least, he can just evolve immediately to another
Yeah,
one.
it's something that we've been sort of thematically stressing about all weekend in these decks. Like, if you're playing an evolution-based deck, you want to stream your evolutions, stagger them. Make sure that there are turns where you can get away with having them all set up already, but in the most instances, it's smart to stagger them so they're all on different timers, and you can still maintain them throughout the course of the game.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. He's just kind of like it puts Jimmy in a weird spot. I mean, it's kind of what we've seen with Zoroark decks. So, oh my God, did he hear us?
Jimmy putting down another Zorua? Is he getting mid-set coaching?
Right.
Yikes.
So, I mean, it's just like what you've seen with Zoroark versus fighting decks since they've been a thing.
Oh, Jimmy passes without.
Oh,
He
wow.
doesn't want to Quaking, but Austin gets to finally use trusty Karina.
I get. I mean, so did Jimmy just not have a? I mean, there's a floatstone down. Like, well,
Yeah.
did he?
I guess he just wanted to sit behind that Tapu Lele.
He chose not. I mean, does he have a DC in his hand? Maybe he didn't draw what he needed. I don't.
What's Austin grabbing?
Oh man, that's wild.
Computer search, discarding a fighting energy and I can't see the card underneath the computer search, but
Whatever's underneath that fighting energy. I mean, looking at Jimmy's list, I mean, it's not like.
strong energy.
There.
Oh, just clean Land's Wrath knockout on the Tapu
Wow.
Lele. Jimmy promoting that
How does Jimmy
Floodstone.
deal with this? He just doesn't, right?
No, he gave Austin a turn of items.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was on purpose. I mean, Jimmy's hand does not look
Yeah,
great.
He doesn't have energy. He's just trying to draw energy. Doesn't have it. Low deck size. All of Jimmy's energy surprised. Outside of the
Man.
one he used for the first Toad.
Man, I mean, prized or you can't. I mean, they're just hidden.
They're at the bottom of the deck. Ultra Ball.
Yeah, I mean, let's get a peek inside this deck and see what's going on here.
Deciding what to. So obviously you're gonna use that egg to pay.
Yep.
Part of the costs, but
Mm.
getting that Guzma down.
Oh my God, there is only one double colorless in the deck.
You know,
So he prized two.
He prized 2 of his 4 energy total in the deck.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
That's very pivotal.
giving Austin that turn of items, Austin just like, haha.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Extra 30.
Yep.
Search for an extra 20.
Ah, you weren't doing anything anyway? Nice.
I turned 120 damage into 170.
Yep. Oh, all right. So Jimmy did at least get the double colorless here. I mean, is it? I mean, I guess not too little, too late.
Countercatcher.
But I mean, now
Enhanced
Austin is just like a Guzma away from winning, right? He hasn't played one.
His hand's pretty big.
All right. So Jimmy at least got a Plumeria as well in the enhanced hammer. Able to rip 2 off of the Zygarde, but self-surrender to 60. There's a choice band that does 90. That Diance's plus 20. He's still doing 110. That Zoroark is still
Jimmy debating what
very
side to
easy
put
to
down,
knock
but
out.
he's gonna do the Tried and
And
true.
just
Damage
like
reduction.
that,
Austin flashes
Austin
Guzma for
Ellis
game.
making it look easy, man.